We begin with a decision that legal insiders had feared, a decision that unfolded in just the last 48 hours, 48 hours that changed the trajectory of the entire investigation, 48 hours that forced one of the most powerful families in American history to make a choice, and that choice was silence, because while the mainstream media looked away, a legal deadline came and went. And the response from the Clinton legal team wasn't confidence, it wasn't transparency, it was panic. To understand why this matters, you have to understand who is watching. This isn't just about a court case. This is about a legacy. For decades, we have been told that there was nothing to see, that the flights didn't happen, that the meetings were routine. But tonight, that narrative is collapsing. Because whenever a legal team goes quiet, it means the evidence is about to get loud. Sources speaking on condition of anonymity tell us that the mood inside the Clinton camp shifted dramatically this morning. Why? Because the strategy of wait and see is no longer an option. They aren't just facing a judge anymore. They are facing a turning point. A turning point that could expose everything they have worked for 30 years to hide. The signals went quiet almost immediately. Usually when a high-profile figure refuses a deposition, there is a press release. There is a statement of indignation. There is a public fight. But this time, silence. Intelligence analysts who track these legal maneuvers notice something strange. The usual channels of communication, the leaks to friendly reporters, the background briefings, they all stopped. It was as if a switch was flipped, and that tells us something important. When the most vocal defenders of a legacy suddenly stop talking, it's not because they are calm, it's because they are scrambling. Analysts suggest that the blackout we are seeing right now is actually a symptom of chaos behind the scenes. They are looking for a way out, they are looking for a loophole. But for the first time in a long time, the walls aren't moving back. They are closing in. And then the news broke, or rather it leaked. Bill and Hillary Clinton have refused to provide testimony regarding their specific interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. They refused to sit for the deposition. They refused to answer the questions. They refused to clarify the record. This wasn't just a legal objection. This was a barricade. According to officials familiar with the proceedings, the refusal was absolute. No middle ground, no negotiation, just a hard no. And why is this significant? Because you don't refuse to clear your name unless you are afraid of the questions. Innocent people answer. Innocent people clarify. Panic looks like silence. For every question about the flight logs, there was an objection. For every inquiry about the island, there was a refusal. For every attempt to get to the truth, the Clinton team countered with a wall of procedural delays. But here is what makes this moment so dangerous for them. By refusing to testify, they haven't ended the story. They have confirmed the suspicion. They have signaled to the world and to the judge that there are things they cannot say under oath. While the Clinton team was building a wall, the opposition was building a battering ram. This wasn't a random legal attack. This was surgical precision. The lawyers seeking this testimony didn't just ask for a chat. They laid a trap. They knew the refusal was coming. In fact, they were counting on it. By forcing the Clintons to officially go on the record and say we will not speak, the plaintiffs have shifted the burden of proof. It's a classic maneuver. You push the opponent into a corner where their only option is to look guilty. And that is exactly what happened. While the media was focused on the election, while the cameras were pointed at the White House, this legal team was quietly, methodically filing the paperwork that would corner the former First Family. They filed the motions, they served the papers, they set the deadline. And when the clock struck 0, the Clintons were left with two bad choices: lie under oath or refuse to speak. They chose silence, and in the court of public opinion, silence screams. So what does this actually mean? History will record this moment as the time when the immunity finally wore off. For decades, there has been an unwritten rule in Washington. The Clintons are untouchable, but that rule just broke. If they can be forced into a position of silence on this issue, on the Epstein issue, then nothing is safe. This sends a message to every other associate, every other name on those lists, every other powerful figure who thought their secrets were buried. It tells them that the era of protection is over. Analysts are calling this a catastrophic failure of containment. The strategy was always to contain the story, to keep it small, to keep it in the past. But by refusing to testify, they have dragged it into the present. And that is what makes this moment so critical. It's not just about what they aren't saying. It's about what their silence admits. It admits fear, it admits vulnerability, and most of all, it admits that they know exactly what is in those sealed documents. So what happens next? We are entering uncharted territory. Within the next few weeks, we could see a judge compel testimony. We could see leaks that make the current information look like nothing. Scenario 1. The judge accepts the refusal, and the public draws its own conclusions. The reputation damage is permanent. Scenario 2. The judge forces them to the stand, and that is the scenario that has Washington terrified tonight. Because if they take the stand, everything is on the table. Every flight, every meeting, every name. The 48-hour deadline has passed, but the real countdown has just begun. The panic we are seeing now is just the tremor before the earthquake. The lawyers are scrambling, the phones are ringing, but the truth is coming, and for the first time in a long time, there is nowhere left to hide. The mainstream media is refusing to cover this. They want this story to disappear, but we won't let that happen. If you want to know what happens next, if you want the updates that they are trying to hide, you need to be subscribed to this channel. Hit the like button to help us beat the algorithm. Leave a comment below. Do you think they are hiding something? Share this video before it gets taken down. We will be back within 24 hours with a major update. Stay tuned.